How's it going, my evil residents? Welcome to Plot Armor. In this series, we tally up the medical bills of our favorite characters and find out just how often they've cheated death itself. Today, we'll be covering Chris and SHEVA from Resident Evil 5 for their bills to keep things fair. I will be tallying the cost in US dollars without insurance of any kind. Since they're part of the BSAA, which is sanctioned by the United Nations in the lore of these games, their funeral costs will be lower than the civilian funeral cost, down to $2,000 from the $7,000 I usually charge. We will also be tallying every time they survive something out of sheer luck, usually due to the writing of the game. I'll count these by giving out Chief tokens, which are named after the main character of the Halo series, Master Chief, because his main trait is that he's lucky and, well, I just really like Halo. I will keep their counts separate, but if something happens to both of them in the game at the same time, I will count it at the same time with the same explanation, since it would be redundant to repeat the same thing I just said every single time something happens to both of them. I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the video. When Chris and SHEVA meet their first Majini, I'll be giving Chris a Chief token since SHEVA saves him. It's clearly the developer's intention for you to get grabbed here to teach you the save mechanic, so I will be counting it. There's lots of parts in this game where what happens to each character depends on who goes first or who player 1 is playing as, so I will be doing this from the perspective of a first playthrough Chris. He's the first character you play as, and SHEVA is unlocked later. Chris would likely get a minor concussion since he jumps headfirst through a window. There'd be lots of cuts on his veiny, exposed, throbbing biceps from all these small pieces of glass.
Don't tense up. Where are you going?
Chris and SHEVA are lucky that the only house they could fall back to had a giant wooden beam as a lock on the metal door, since the Majini, as proven later in the holdout section, can break down doors and windows. After the public assembly holdout section, one of their team members uses an RPG to open this huge gate and clear the remaining Majini. RPGs can't be fired from helicopters, so the duo gets a Chief token for being saved in an impossible way. They're very lucky that the horrific monster that's weak to flames attacked and trapped them in a furnace room. They are very lucky that this bridge was lined with explosive barrels to tip the truck for literally no discernible reason. Why would you put explosive barrels on a bridge? I don't know. Chris's back would likely look like a hamburger from this, given the helicopter crashed here and how rough and dry the dirt is. The rocks and broken glass and potentially metal pieces in the ground would have destroyed Chris's shirt, meaning he's basically being dragged on his bare back. This would give him very severe road rash on his back and likely upper arms, charging a high amount, since this is such a large area that would need to be skin grafted. The debris that is sitting on the ground for this bridge is not angled or high enough to launch this incredibly heavy Humvee. I don't think their speed is an issue for getting across this gap, but the height of the ramp of debris is most definitely a problem. They would not be able to get the height they need to cross this bridge. When they meet in Desu, SHEVA is almost punched by a Humvee.
Look out!
There's no way that bullets would shatter this massive piece of earth like this, as this isn't how bullets affect rock. They'd likely just get stuck inside or bounce off depending on the angle the bullet hits the rock. Chris is super lucky that the crocodile attacking him during this raft section doesn't just tip the raft, as Chris would almost surely die in the water with the crocodile there. There is no cover on this boat, and there's a mounted minigun firing at them. They should have died here, especially since it takes them a moment to get the boat going. Irving is now literally larger than the boat they're on. He could just ram the boat and sink it or capsize it and call it a day with them, and doesn't, because I guess he doesn't feel like it. They 100% should have died here.
What's so funny? How do you know about me?
All your answers await ahead, Chris. In that cave. If you can survive long enough to get them.
Chris and SHEVA don't know where the facility is. All Irving does is vaguely nod his head in a direction and say it's in a cave. This boat is still going super fast, and they have no reason to trust him since he's done nothing but fuck around with them up to this point. So they get a chief token because they knew what cave he meant from this horrifically vague and unhelpful information.
What's so funny? How do you know about me?
Chris is pretty lucky that there's a path that leads to nowhere below this bridge for Chris to meet up with SHEVA.
Come on!
Okay.
These two fall 3 stories into a hole with a solid stone floor with barely any warning. Chris would have surely destroyed his legs, and with how SHEVA landed, she'd have destroyed her arms and most likely her neck for sure. Chris and SHEVA are very lucky that these ruins still work properly after thousands of years, especially with how complex these mechanisms are.
It stopped.
Why?
Oh, that's why.
Chris and SHEVA should have died here. U8 had every opportunity to absolutely decimate them here with how durable his skin is and his huge size advantage. Between that and the annoying mosquito things he spawns, I really think they had no chance here. I don't normally charge deaths for crazy bosses, but I think this one warrants it. The odds of them surviving this in the environment they're in are just way too low, so I'm gonna count this. With so many lickers to silently cross, they'd need bottomless clips in their guns and tons of luck to take them all down, as their gear and boots would surely set the lickers off in this metal, echoey hallway. There's no way they can sneak past so many lickers if their hearing was as sensitive as it is in, for example, Resident Evil 2 Remake. The duo is very lucky, once again, that they were attacked by Ouroboros in a room with their one weakness conveniently weaponized on the wall for Chris and SHEVA to use again. They each get one chief token here for surviving every gunfight in this game with no armor and little cover, especially with how outnumbered they are. I'm charging one for each of them. That covers all gunfights because one per gunfight would probably just be overkill. They each get one. For these Wesker fights, I'm going to let the scenes play out and have pop-ups for the injuries. Just keep in mind that Wesker can punch through people, through metal walls. So that's why each hit has such horrible injuries, but they don't count as deaths since he's clearly just playing with Chris and SHEVA. Each attack is not meant to actually kill them. He's just fucking around with them. So that is why I'm charging injuries and not deaths for each hit.
The one and only. Let's finish this once and for all. I think the odds are fair. 2 on 2. Right, Jill.
Jill, come on! It's me, Chris! Snap out of it!
Nice move, Chris.
After the Wesker fight, we move on to Chapter 6. Wait, what the fuck? Why is the cutscene still going?
Are you all right?
Josh? Josh and Jill?
Good. You are all...
Damn it, I have to do Jill's plot armor too, don't I?
Wait a minute.
The first episode was about her after all, so I guess before moving on to Chapter 6. To start, Jill passes out for an extended period of time, which is horrible for your brain, as passing out for more than about 10 seconds can cause tons of permanent irreparable damage to the brain. This is how much I usually charge on this channel for treatment, but it's a lowball number for treating brain damage. Much like Chris and SHEVA will be later, Jill is very lucky that this safe was either unlocked for some reason or that she just knew the code to a random safe here. Jill is getting 3 chief tokens here, 1 per door, because she is very lucky that there's missile turrets in this one specific section of the base here to destroy these impassable blast doors. Well, after that quick pit stop, we can get back to Chapter 6. Wait, there's another DLC with Jill and Chris. I mean, this video has to be even longer? God fucking damn. Jill is saved by Chris and generally lucky that there was a spiked ceiling crusher viewing room with a stop lever, but I'm gonna count this one for both characters as it happens to whoever enters second. Doesn't really matter who the first player is playing as, the other person will flip the levers, so I'm just gonna give it to both of them. I don't care. I know this goes against the rule that I said earlier, but I'm giving it to both of them. It doesn't matter that much.
Jill, are you okay?
I'm fine, but I lost most of my gear.
Same here. Alright, try to find a way out of there. And I'll find a way to meet up with you.
Copy that. Watch your back.
Both of them are super lucky that there were crushers down here to take care of the Guardians of Insanity, only charging 1 chief token since it depends on the difficulty, how many you need to crush, and 1 is the minimum on amateur. Now we're going to rewind a little bit and take a look at Jill's plot armor through the regular part of the game where she is not playable, but she is a character. I figure I'd count it since even though we're not playing as her, she is still in the game. In Chapter 2, Level 2, I'm charging Jill $50,000 for broken legs from smashing through a window. This is nearly impossible to do, and if she did it, she would severely hurt herself, especially with her jumping back out of the window and down quite a long ways. Her legs would most definitely be destroyed from this, so I'm charging broken legs. For this part here, Jill is almost shot many times. I'm charging 2 tokens because she's being shot by 2 expert marksmen. Expert in quotes, they miss every shot. Charging a chief token for each and every bullet would just be overkill. Throughout the events between Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 5, and partially in this game, Jill underwent tons of experimentation and brainwashing over a long period of time from the man that slaughtered her entire team and let her into the Spencer Mansion in the first game. I'm charging her years of trauma and therapy treatment. I'm also charging extra for the physical toll of the experiments and the physical effects of the brainwashing and just whatever that device on her chest does to her immune system and her body. She has canon years of therapy and treatment for her injuries from this game after this game. It's canon that is a thing, that she was just kept in a lab, treated, given more therapy, and tested and poked and prodded for years. So I'm charging her $750,000. That is treatment for all of this shit for her whole life. When Chris and SHEVA are fighting Jill, she is repeatedly slammed into the solid stone floor. This would likely leave very severe bruises and contusions in her spine and her back. SHEVA has this one move. I'm just going to show you the move. This would likely permanently paralyze Jill. She is slammed into the stone floor. I know I already charged for that. She is slammed into the floor, landing on her head. Her head goes about 90 degrees. This would break her neck and shatter her spine. I'm not 100% sure that this would kill her because SHEVA is an expert combatant. That's like a proven thing. She would know not to kill Jill. This could permanently paralyze Jill. This likely, if this was done to Jill, if she did die, which she doesn't, this would paralyze her instantly. Keeping up with the lifelong effects and medical bills of being completely paralyzed is seriously expensive. This is the most expensive single medical bill in the entire series, I'm pretty sure. $1.2 million. $1.2 million. That's a lowball for how expensive it would be to treat Jill's injuries just for this one neck lock and slam into the floor. It would be astronomical. Lastly, for Jill, right after the boss fight, I'm charging $3,000 for cleanup and de-scarring of the injury on her chest from the brainwashing device, as it had very deep wires and needles attached to her body. That's it, right? No more DLC? That's the last one? I can move on to the last chapter of the game where all the real crazy bullshit happens and act like I had to structure the video this way because I knew people would click off the video before I got to the DLC if I put it last. Thank God. Okay, let's move on to the last chapter of the game.
Maybe I'll tell you.
Damn it!
She's tough. I'll give her that much. What's this?
Despite being for Wesker only, the PG-67AW injection says, "Do not give to children under 2 years of age." This has nothing to do with the video. I just thought it was funny.
Chris, is this...
Whatever it is, Excella seemed protective of it.
For this safe with the second keycard, they're either lucky that it was just open, or lucky that they just randomly knew the safe code.
What the hell?
Farewell, old friend.
Once they escape onto the upper part of the ship to fight Excella, the duo are so lucky that there's a working orbital laser on this specific part of the boat. There is literally no other way they could have defeated this thing. Why is there an orbital laser here? I don't know. I don't know. Chris and SHEVA are most definitely getting charged for treatment for smoke inhalation from the enclosed, unventilated, flaming, and exploding bulkhead rooms before the Wesker fight.
Don't you two ever tire of failing in your mission?
I love the detail in these fights that Wesker goes for actual hits on Chris, but mostly does keep away moves on SHEVA, as he doesn't really give a shit about SHEVA and just wants to fight Chris.
Maybe our only chance.
Do it.
Do it now! Give him a shot!
Ensuring complete global saturation. Your feeble attempts only delay the inevitable. The entire world will be infected. A new genesis is at hand, and I will be the creator.
After they open the back door of the bomber, it crashes into a literal volcano. Between the newly hardened rock on the lava surface that would be hot enough to melt your shoes almost instantly, and the temperature in here is close to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, 1200 degrees Celsius lava, SHEVA would surely just die from exposure in this volcano, as all this rock would be too much to so much as stand on after a couple minutes, and there's no clear way for them to get out and far away in time. Chris is very lucky that there was rock under this arch so he doesn't die trying to swim in lava. SHEVA is very, very lucky that her partner is the strongest man alive and able to move this boulder, which, if made out of volcanic rock, and you know, it's in a volcano, so it likely is, likely weighs somewhere loosely around, with its size, 9 fucking tons.
Just hold on, SHEVA!
The human race requires judgment. Chris!
You didn't have to cut me off.
As I mentioned in Chapter 1, RPG have massive backblast and exert lots of air force behind them. You cannot fire them from helicopters, much less ones with the back door closed. This would ground the helicopter almost instantly, and they would all die. Or the hot air would give them all third-degree burns, but given they're already crashing, I'm not going to charge them medical bills since they're already dying from this. Oddly enough, all the characters we covered are here at the end in the same helicopter to add to the death counters, so we can add one to all 3 characters to finish things out.
Ready, partner?
Locked and loaded.
Suck on this, Wesker.
Your time's up, you son of a bitch.
Let's take a look at the numbers. Chris's numbers are super inflated just due to the fact that Wesker focuses most of his hits on him. Wesker mostly just pushes SHEVA away in their fights, as I mentioned earlier, and is mostly preoccupied with his boyfriend Chris, so he shows his love with the biggest medical bill in series history for the next 30 seconds or so. SHEVA's numbers are much slower, which I find super interesting. Without the Jill and Wesker fight, SHEVA would get away from this game with barely a scratch. As far as this series is concerned anyway. I expected her and Chris to be a lot closer since they're together for the entire game, but poor Chris just keeps getting the brunt of literally everything. Last, but certainly not least, the mother of the plot armor series, Jill Valentine, takes back her crown from Sebastian Castellanos from The Evil Within and Chris 30 seconds ago for the highest medical bill in the entire series. Combining her total from RE3 Remake, she sits at an absolutely insane $3.6 million. The next closest is Ethan from RE7 and 8 and Alex Mason from the Black Ops series. Insane numbers. Jill proves once again that she's basically a Terminator and well worth being the inspiration for the series. If you want to know how I got these numbers for other characters I mentioned, you can find a link to a playlist of all my plot armor videos up on the card in the top right and down in the description. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below and hit the subscribe button to help me along to my goal of 10,000 subscribers. I think we can do it by the end of 2025. I think we can easily do it, so please help me out with that. I've also got channel memberships starting at just $1 if you'd like to support me more directly so I can put more time into making you all these videos. There's also a link to the Discord in the description if you'd like to get to know the rest of the community. Special shout out to all my members on screen now, and a very special shout out to my malevolent resident, Belladonna. Thank you very much for watching, and stay evil, my residents.